Mr. Mack-Poole, 3-minute history. Life in Nazi Germany from 1933 to 1939. Mr. Mack-Poole, 3-minute history, part 1, life under the Nazis from 1933 to 1939. I'd like to focus on the police state and how attitudes were influenced and controlled. So first and foremost, we had Heinrich Himmler. Heinrich Himmler is regarded to be one of the most evil men in Nazi Germany. And this was because of his role in the Holocaust. The Holocaust camps were controlled by Schutzstaffel guards, okay? So these were the black shirts. Don't forget that the black shirts had a huge role in the 1934 Night of the Long Knives. Now, as well as being in charge of the Schutzstaffel had a role in controlling the Gestapo. Now, the Gestapo, the Geheimstaatpolizei, they were secret police in Germany, and they didn't wear the black uniforms, which the Schutzstaffel, the black shirts, were famous for. Instead, they were plainclothes police officers, and therefore it was hard to know when you're being watched. So you very much had this kind of paranoia amongst the police state. However, the Gestapo infamously got 80% of their information through the German public volunteering information to them. So there was a high degree of complicity amongst the German people with the Gestapo. Now, as well as fear, you also had a method of control and influence, sometimes with a more kind of positive tact, and that was in the form of propaganda. So a very, very good example of propaganda from Joseph Goebbels, who was the head of propaganda and censorship in Nazi Germany, was the Berlin Olympics of 1936, putting on a great show, making Germany look like it was great again. It was an enormous propaganda success. Also, Goebbels would use the radio, putting Hitler on an airplane, many different techniques to get his message across to the German people. As well as putting on newspaper articles and using the radio, he would use massive processions at Nuremberg, and a famous example was Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will, which was filmed to make Nazi Germany look absolutely brilliant. He would also use book burnings to get rid of any literature of a Jewish origin or anything that wasn't Aryan or Nazi, so anything of a communist influence would be destroyed as well. Now, despite this attempt at control through fear and the influence of the mind through propaganda, there was opposition in Germany. One notable example was religious opposition in Pastor Niemöller. He famously came up with the poem, "First they came for the communists, but I did not speak up," etc., etc. Also, there was youth opposition in the swing youth, people who listened to, young people listened to jazz music, and the Edelweiss Pirates, who had violent clashes with the Hitler Youth. Now, the Edelweiss Pirates were actually murdered quite brutally. They were hung in public. At first, Hitler tried to ignore them because he thought they were just silly German children. However, they were dealt with most brutally and met a grisly end. Now, guys, I've just flown through that information very quickly. Remember, this is just a revision video. If there's anything there which you can't remember, or you're thinking, oh, I really don't understand that, this is your opportunity right now to develop your knowledge through doing some more revision. Just use the internet, BBC Bite Size. Thank you for watching, and please come back for part 2.